What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Obscura Undead, your weekly source for music news, band news, tour news, and this is our album reviews.
Yay!
So this week we'll be doing album reviews by Medusa Stare, Ploho, and Mortal Boy.
Yep.
Mortal Boy. That's hard for me to say.
And she's Mouse.
And I'm Azzy.
Awesome. Let's get into it. Okay, so we are starting with Medusa Stare. This album is honestly the one that I was looking forward to most.
I know. You kept telling me it's going to come out in a week. It's going to come out in 5 days. Oh, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
Did you know? Medusa Stare's coming out.
Well, did you?
Yes.
Were you aware?
I was aware.
So Medusa Stare self-released their self-titled album, Medusa Stare, on July 16th. This band is based out of Seattle, Washington, and it is what is it called when you have six bandmates?
A septuplet? Sextet?
Sextet. And they are a sextet that, I hope that word's right, describes their music as anarcho-goth.
Anarcho-goth.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect. So on vocals, you have Taryn. On bass, Alan. Drums, Carrie? I don't know.
Carrie?
Guitar, Lido. Synth, Manda. Yeah. And then what honestly, I think really sets this band apart and makes them so super special is they have a woman doing spoken word. Her name is Sasha Lapointe.
Sasha? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll get into it when we get into the album why she's so amazing.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, anarcho-goth, what do you think of that?
So I think they made up that term, but it sounds to me like goth punk.
Anarcho-punk.
Goth punk. So, anarchy, punk, rock. Not rock at all, right? Goth punk.
They're a death rock band.
So it reminded me of Kaylin Mikla. The way that she sings, the way that she
does raw edge on her vocals.
The raw edge on her vocals and the way that she does kind of spoken word delivery. I mean, this girl actually does spoken word.
Sasha actually does spoken word.
But Kaylin Mikla is kind of spoken word-ish lyrics and vocals.
Kaylin Mikla started off doing slam poetry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that explains that.
Yeah. So, yeah, the spoken word on this album, I'm not usually a fan of spoken word. Sometimes it feels intrusive or out of place or just kind of roll your eyes cheesy. But it is so perfectly worked into this album. And there are two completely spoken word tracks. The Poison Garden 1 and the Poison Garden 2 both use the same backing instruments, but are these really powerful, poetic poems about what I assume is Sasha's native heritage, because she is mixed heritage of Coast Salish.
What is that?
Salish is a tribe that lives in the Pacific Northwest. So they're one of the native tribes.
Of America?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she is from Washington.
Well, I mean, I don't think everyone from Washington has native ancestry,
mm-hmm. But it is the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, but she talks about in her poems about the women in her family being poison to the men and how she tries to be as white as possible, even though she's red.
Wow.
And it's just so touchingly poetic and dark and emotional. I thought that these tracks were just so beautiful. And I'm not usually a fan of spoken word.
I do like the mixture of synths with guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Just the mixture of those two elements as one is something that I like a lot in albums. So I'm glad that they leaned on that a lot.
I admittedly didn't hear the synths the first time I listened to the album.
I had to listen for it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't sound like just a guitar album. It didn't sound like post-punk or anything like that. So I was listening for them to see how it was recorded, because I saw so many people in the band. So,
right.
I guess there's two that do vocals alone. So if you see them live, which I would love to see.
Oh my gosh, I wish we were going to any of the shows that they're playing, because they're currently doing a West Coast tour.
Okay, so maybe we should watch for them in the East, and
maybe we should talk to our promoter friends and tell them, please bring this band, please bring this band.
So 2 vocalists, 2 sets of guitars, the guitar and bass, and the synths. That's a lot going on. Yeah, and that's awesome.
Which is really interesting because they don't have a really heavy sound.
No, it's very light and open and airy. But it's...
I mean, as airy as Death Rock gets, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's not... I don't know, it just sounded very punk to me.
I think that some songs did sound way more on the dark punk side, but... Blood Rights felt way more on the punk side to me. Mm-hmm. But a track like Smoke and Mirrors felt way more on the goth side. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that way with Smoke Mirrors, and... I really liked Grave Robbers, which was right before that. Mm-hmm. And I liked Death Mask, which was right after that. So for me, the album had this weird wave to it. Mm-hmm. Poison Garden 1 and 2, I was not expecting. So the Poison Garden 1 had all that spoken word, and then it went into those 3 tracks, Grave Robbers, Smoke and Mirrors, and Death Mask. And then after that was done, it went right into Poison Garden 2. Mm-hmm. And it was just this little, yeah. I don't know. I could do it with my hands, but I can't explain it.
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect from this album in terms of the spoken word. I didn't know it would be quite 2 tracks exclusively spoken word, but I knew that the teaser track that they had put out, Fires of Beltane, was just so amazing. It really caught me hard. So that's why I was so excited about this.
It also reminds me of the bands both The Ire and Otzi. Mm-hmm. I felt that all of these bands could play together in a show or something. The female vocalist for, almost death rock punk. You can have just an entire evening of bands just like that.
Anarcho-goth bands.
Anarcho-goth, yes. That's going to take a little getting used to for me.
That would be amazing. I would love to go to that show. That would make me so happy.
So what was your favorite track then?
That's a really great question. That is a really great question. I mean, I'm not going to say Poison Garden 1, even though that was my favorite of the spoken word tracks, and it's definitely up there in my favorite tracks. I think that my absolute favorite track might have been Smoke and Mirrors.
I liked Smoke and Mirrors because of how it seemed to be a different pace than the other tracks. Mm-hmm. And Fires of Beltane, which I know you said was originally a single.
Yeah.
I think that one as well is probably one of their strongest.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I had the lyric sheet so I could just sit down with all of them and listen to the lyrics.
Especially because this album, it has so much poetics in it. I really want to read the lyrics.
Is there a hard copy that we can get, or is it digital only?
I think it's digital only. I mean, you know what you could do? You could message the band.
I could message the band. Let's do that.
And ask if there's somewhere where we can read all their lyrics.
Contact.
Or if there's a physical thing that we
Silent M got back to me, by the way.
What did he say?
He said, we had asked where his music video was recorded. Mm-hmm. And he was all over New York. And I should have just known that.
Well, we found that out the next day. Is that all he said?
Yes. That is all he said.
We're going to have to talk to him when we see him in Orlando.
Oh, yes, we will. I can't figure out how to open this. All right, we'll email him later and ask for the lyrics.
Okay, I'm afraid we're going to forget.
Yeah, we're going to forget. You're going to write it down.
Am I? I'm covered in glitter.
There you go.
Thanks. Message.
Medusa
Stare.
We could just leave a
Underline,
comment. We could just leave a
underline.
comment on their Facebook or something.
Oh, I guess we could do that too.
But I do like rando messaging bands through.
I've been having fun random messaging bands on Bandcamp.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, it's your turn. This is
Why wouldn't-
Obscura Undead.
Why wouldn't it let you message them?
Some crap I don't want to get into right now.
Fine.
It wants me to like sign
Oh.
in with all kinds of crap, and I don't want to do that.
Gotcha. What was... All right. So
that was Medusa Stare.
that was Medusa Stare. Go check it out. I strongly urge you to go check this band out. Okay.
Okay.
Who's next?
So next is a band that is Russian.
Russian. Is it Molchat Doma?
No, there's songs that look like Molchat Doma.
That's because they're in Cyrillic.
This band is called Ploho. The album is called Pill.
Which means dust.
Oh my god, I should have Google translated this crap. Oh, now you're gonna one-up me. No! Okay.
Only on that. Only on that.
Okay. So it means dust. And I had heard Ploho maybe a year or so back. Jeff Black, local music extraordinaire, introduced me to them, and they were very goth sounding. And I thought they were a gothic band. And after listening to this album and a couple of their other releases, I'm not so sure.
They're a pretty post-punk band.
They're pretty post-punk. This album as well gets pretty...
So this album, Pill, is their most recent release. It came out on April 5th.
Yes, and their album, or their release before this in March, was a remastered version of one of their albums as well. This one is called... Just kidding, I don't know, it's in Cyrillic. But it was... Shit, it doesn't even say. But, so in March, they had another album that was re-released, and...
Yeah,
one's
so the
good
band's
as well.
been around since 2013, and Pill is their... Maybe it's Pyl?
PYL?
PYL. This is their third full-length album.
But they have 12 releases, so they have tons of...
Yeah, they have a ton of
EPs
singles.
and singles and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because, nobody puts out albums anymore. This is a 9-track album.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty great. I really like it.
Yeah.
I didn't even... I mean, I guess post-punk is how you could describe it, but I also... It sounded very indie to me. A lot of it was...
Yes, it had that indie post-punk vibe.
Yes, indie post-punk. Not necessarily wave.
I didn't... Okay, so I saw a lot of things describing the band as new wave, but I didn't hear that so much.
So,
But apparently they're a pretty big deal in the Russian post-punk scene, in the Russian underground scene.
awesome.
They've toured like 30 Russian cities, and
I'm very happy for them. Good. So, from the top, there's this track called Zaklada.
that track was such a great track to open the album with.
That is exactly my notes. Great track. Great track. I'm like, how do I describe this? Great track. Upbeat dark wave, mostly synth driven is what I heard.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
We could listen to the same song and hear completely different things.
Oh, we do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really freaking cool. That was the first track.
And then it led into that second track, which, oh shoot, how do you say it? Stroitelny Kran?
Stroitelny Kran, yeah.
I
Track 2.
loved the guitar riffs throughout that and the kind of like smashy drums.
Smashy drums.
I don't know how to describe it. It's smashy drums.
So the vocals are all in Russian, and I described his vocals as like nonchalant, like I don't give a fuck vocals. His voice is so good and so deep, and he's just like...
Yeah, it's almost spoken, but it's still
It's mostly
musical.
it's mostly emotionless singing, so
Is that how you would describe it?
it is because he's very calm and he's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very serene. Like he could tell me something in that voice, and I'd be like, "Yes, sir."
Yes,
but-
sir.
But I felt that there were a couple of songs that did show some emotion, and when he did, it's few and far between. So it gets so exciting that I'm like, oh, okay, So I got really excited because it's very controlled. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant by No emotion.
Reserved.
Reserved. Yes. Reserved singing.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with you on that, definitely.
There was one track I did not like so much. You probably know which one it is.
Go on.
It was track 5, Moskva, because it had bongos, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
I kind of like can't really connect to the bongos, but let me give it a chance. And then 3/4 way through the song, saxophone. Like, why do this to me? I feel like it calls out just to me, but as saxophone songs,
you were enjoying this album.
I was like, you know what? I can get into this bongo thing. You know? Yeah, I can get into it. And the saxophone is like, that's the way I feel when I hear saxophone in a song. Exactly, and it wasn't like smooth, melty, like Careless Whisper saxophone. It was not like that. It was.
What about I Still Believe, saxophone guy from the Lost Boys?
Okay, that is absolutely acceptable, only because he is sweaty and oiled down, or maybe it's just oiled down, and pelvic gyrating and very muscular. If you didn't have that visual, it wouldn't be the same.
I was reading something that said that he did push-ups between all of his shots so that he was like at max swole.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He's so veiny. That's great. But
otherwise,
Epic sax guy, I'm totally fine with him.
Okay,
Great.
okay.
Okay, so one more thing I wanted to point out was track 6, called, track 7, Moya Pamyat. This one is very indie sounding. The riff in it sounded like Silver Sun pickups, Red Eye. You could listen to both of these songs, and it's like the same like little...
I don't know Silver Sun pickups,
riff.
So...
No, it's not something you would really listen to, but it's, I don't know, it's...
Gotcha.
Pop, indie pop.
But yeah, this album definitely was on the more indie side of post-punk. But that said, it's still a good album. It still has some great tracks. My favorite was track 2, which I'm not going to try to pronounce again. The one with the smashy drums.
Smashy drums. I think I still like track 1. I do love how this band has multiple styles and they can accomplish all of that within one album. And they're ever changing. But I would recommend to go back and listen to some of their older releases that I felt were a lot darker than this.
Despite the cover on this one looking super dark.
It is...
Yeah.
I mean, that could be like his kitchen counter or something. I'm not sure what it's a picture of. It's just a texture.
Yeah, it's just a texture.
It's dark because it's in black and white.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Okay.
Whoa. Right on. And our last album is Mortal Boy.
See, it's hard for me to say it too.
A la Lone.
All alone.
A la Lone.
All alone.
All alone.
That's cute.
Do you think the law stands for LA because it's an LA-based project?
I think it's supposed to be a play on words saying all alone.
Yeah, but do you think that there's a triple play on words saying that the law is for LA because it's an LA-based project?
LA.
And
alone.
LA is so lonely?
That could be. It could absolutely be.
I mean, this album did pack in a lot of, feels and sadness and romanticism.
It did. New wave romanticism.
Dark new wave romanticism.
So I heard both light new wave and dark wave.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I loved all of it.
And these songs are like soundscapes, and they're moods in and of themselves.
So it started out weird for me with the track Warrior because I couldn't understand what he was doing with the vocals.
He was channeling David Bowie is what he was doing.
That's what he did on track 2.
He did that on the first 2 tracks.
I was
listening and I just heard, oh, this is Bowie.
First track, I was like, oh, this is Human League. I'm telling you, we should just listen to them at the same time and be like, what band does that sound like? And like spit it out at the same time. We'll be like, Human League, Bowie. Never mind.
I'll be like, Deftones, and you'll be like,
yes, I know. 9 Inch Nails.
Hey, someone agreed with me in the comments that they totally sounded like Deftones.
Who?
Painted Mirror.
Where did you even get that?
My husband.
What? Nothing sounded like Deftones.
Yes, they did, and someone agreed with me.
There's a brief instrumental part.
There's a brief instrumental. It's just an instrument, and it sounded like Deftones.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking you're talking about like vocals or the energy of the... Don't do that to your slime.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to take it away.
No, don't take it away.
Down below.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm just
Nobody
looking
can
and
tell.
playing with myself.
Okay. So, Mortal Boy. They even say in their description, they are exploring soundscapes of dark wave and new wave for the perpetual loneliness, isolation, despair of the future, PTSD over lost romance, and revenge for the heartbroken. So all of this is happening in the album.
I think it nailed it.
Yep, nailed it. So that's our review.
Yeah, that's a review. You nailed it.
Just
Thank
read
you.
their description. So, track 1, we hear two different things. It was on track 2 called Shameless Boys that I heard for sure David Bowie, like the ghost of David Bowie. If David Bowie was purely electronic.
If David Bowie was in Depeche Mode.
I think I wrote Depeche Mode for the track called Cave. Dark synth pop Depeche Mode.
Depeche.
It's very Depeche. And Clan of Zymox style.
I heard Zymox on a lot of this album.
Yes, it was. So it's almost like the way we describe this album is what band do they sound like?
On each track. And it's not just the vocals, it's also in, like the instrumentation and the composition and everything
And
like
the
that.
pacing and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Overall vibe.
there's a track called Mr. Love Bomb that was very Zymox style to me. And it was
I agree.
It was the first Zymox style when you listen to it in order. There was like the double vocals. It was very wavy, was going on in the background. I loved it.
You know what track I loved?
You love...
It's the really spooky one without lyrics.
Oh, Samhain 2, The Revenge, the Halloween ditty.
Yeah, I love that track so much.
So
I was listening to it and I was like, I want to live in this song.
So it's in the middle of the album, maybe, kind of. Samhain 2, The Revenge. I wrote down that it was Halloween with ghostly laughter and synths. So it sounded like a track you would put on in the background when you have like a Halloween party.
I was actually thinking that. I was thinking when I was going through this album, I could use a lot of these background tracks in the World of Darkness game I'm going to be starting up. And I was like, yes, these are perfect moods.
Wow. We have to have a Halloween party at your house and play like that on repeat.
Oh God, you don't want to come to my house.
We could do it here.
This house is better. This house is better.
Okay. There is another song called Synth and Sex.
I did not like that song.
I was just going to say that was my least favorite.
Yeah.
It was too new wave.
Yeah, it was too something. I did not like it.
So it had all the new wave elements, but Mortal Boy has a tendency to, I don't know if they're emulating bands or something, but it was happy synth pop, new wavy, which I wouldn't have minded if it was on another album and I expected it. But it was right after that Depeche Mode Zymox style song, and it just didn't fit. Maybe it's the placement of where it was, but it was too happy. Wrong mood. Wrong album. But I don't know, maybe by itself it's great.
I was listening through this album and there was one song that came on that was super new wave, and I'm just like, this sounds like every teen high school 80s movie. And then I looked at the track title and it was called Prom Night, and I was like, oh,
are you serious?
Yeah, that's fucking perfect.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so probably was. And then I did want to talk about the last track, which was called Lonely Astromen. This was one that I was like, let me look at the lyrics for this, because it sounded interesting to me.
Yeah.
It mentions Major Tom, which is another David Bowie reference. And it talks about these astromen who have explored space, and they've discovered new evidence of life, physics, a better understanding of the universe. And so the chorus is like, should we share what we saw? And then they mention, oh, we have a new leader who wants to start wars, and all this negativity is going on. Should we share what we saw? We think not. Let's never come home again. So lyrics like that, quite depressing, only can be written by an American. So I thought it was really cool, though. But one of the many bands that actually puts their lyrics in Bandcamp, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. When I have more time, I'll have to go through and listen to the lyrics with the music, because, of course, it gives it a totally new light.
It does. It wasn't until we started doing these videos that I started really appreciating lyrics.
That's good, because they should be appreciated.
Because what it is like, I listen to music for just like the way things sound and the feelings that the overall style brings. And if I happen to, catch the lyrics, that's awesome because I love singing along. But I never really go out of my way to find lyrics up until we started doing this because
I like when I can actually hear the lyrics.
Yes.
It's kind of hard when you have a band and there's amazing lyrics to it, but you can't understand anything.
Yes. I feel that way with too many bands.
Sometimes in the way that the songs are written, you don't hear the emotion in it, and you have to get it from reading the lyrics. I'd prefer if you can actually hear the emotion in everything instead of it only being hidden in the lyrics. Like this song, "The Lonely Astroman," it doesn't sound like its lyrics are portraying. If I hadn't read those lyrics, I would have no idea what they're going on about. So I think it's something the band has to think about. Like, do my lyrics that I've written for this song, do they come through in the music? Like, as if there were no lyrics. Can you tell the emotion of this song through the way that the choruses and the melody and all of that? Or the way they sing?
I think another reason why I appreciate when bands put lyrics on their digital albums, is because I don't buy CDs as much as I used to, and CDs almost always used to come with the lyric booklets or things like that. So I guess I took it for granted.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it was gone.
You would get a new album, and then you're like, you sit in the corner and you look at all the album art, and you're like, okay, that part's done, and then you read all the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I still get super excited when I get a vinyl and there's a poster in there.
I do too, but then it just sits in the corner waiting for me to stick it on the wall.
I know. Maybe we can put posters on this wall. I have one right down here.
Oh, no, I don't.
Maybe we can put posters on this wall.
We could. We will.
Eventually. Awesome. What was your favorite track on this album?
Maybe either Mr. Love Bomb or Cave. Both of those were the gothier sounding tracks. Mm-hmm. That Cave was the Depeche Mode Zymox style one. I think I liked that.
I really liked Shameless Boys.
And the Halloween one.
Yes. But I really liked how well he sort of channeled the spirit of Bowie. I miss Bowie.
I miss Bowie too.
I want that Barbie.
But you know what? Not about the Barbie. We can always go back and listen to his albums because he has been immortalized in decades of great music. We should just go get it all on vinyl and just listen to it.
Yes, let's do that.
Road
trip to the record store.
No, downstairs. I've got a lot of his albums on vinyl.
Ooh, it's even closer. Love it. So that's our album review for the week.
Yeah, we're done.
All three of them. Usually we try to review, one of the big name bands, but there was not. You got to give so much love to these bands that aren't on labels.
Yeah, this week all three of these bands are self-released.
Mm-hmm.
So good job, guys, on putting your music out there.
Yeah, and go check the bands out. And if you like their music, of course, buy their music. I mean, that's the best way that we can tell them we love what you're doing. Yeah, and that's it for this week. So thanks for watching, and as always, in the end of our videos, we're going to thank our lovely, lovely patrons who help make these videos possible. So, starting from the top in the same order we always do them in. Thank you, Skullgirl.
Thank you, Bitter.
Thank you, Cadaver Kelly.
Thank you, Dave Azoiser.
Thank you, Dia.
Thank you, Mason Shiver.
Thank you, Beth Razoth.
Thank you, Junkyard Bat.
Thank you, Dreaming Noctis.
Thank you, Libby.
Thank you, The Count.
Thank you, Max Shrek.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Demetria.
And thank you, Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
Yeah. And check out our news episode from earlier in this week. We have our music video react coming out later this week. And if you can't get enough of us, we are at obscuraundead.com, where we have people who volunteer to write, reviews or article thoughts for us. We have new stuff published all the time that it's not regular, but it's as the mood strikes people, which is honestly how it should be. No one should feel forced to listen to something. You should go with your heart.
Exactly.
Yes, and we do that, and we want you to do that. So go check out that content. Go check out Facebook, Instagram, Mixcloud. where else are we? Oh, we have a Teespring where we're selling t-shirts with our faces on them.
Mm-mm. You don't have to buy those.
You don't have to buy those. But, you know, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and we'll see you next time.
I'm gonna die.
Mouse may not be here for next time. Love you, bye.
No. Asshole. Wait for you to stop your gigantic long run-on sentence. Okay, so that's all we have. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.